What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a movie that, to be quite honest with you, I knew virtually nothing about before I went in to watch it, other than it starred Nick Kroll and Andrew Rannells. And I really enjoy both of those actors. I love Andrew Rannells from his work on Broadway, or even like his appearances in television shows like Girls, or just whatever he's done throughout his career. I think he's incredibly talented. He's obviously a really great singer. And I just really love his personality. I think he's genuinely funny. I like his really kind of sarcastic sense of humor. And Nick Kroll, I've been a fan of since The League. I always enjoy whatever he shows up in. I also really appreciate his sense of humor. And I think the two of them have a really great chemistry. And all I knew about this movie was I saw the poster of both of them holding knives, and it was slated as a comedy, which was enough for me to get on board and watch it. And the movie I'm going to be telling you about today is I Don't Understand You. I Don't Understand You is directed by Brian Crano and David Joseph Craig. Stranded in rural Italy without transportation or language skills, an American couple on the verge of adopting tries to reconnect during a disastrous vacation as their fears and relationship problems threaten to boil over. So, like I said, I did not know what to expect with this movie other than I really love both of these actors and was hoping to appreciate it for that very reason alone. And what I will say about this movie is it's incredibly entertaining. There's a lot of really funny moments. I think Andrew Rannells and Nick Kroll are really great together, but a lot of how you're going to enjoy this movie is based on the tonal shift at about the midway point. This takes a very drastic turn. The poster kind of gives away sort of the direction that it's going to go into. And later on in the video, I'll talk about spoilers, but I'm going to stick away from that at the beginning. Just kind of give my general thoughts, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about it today. So, the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to couple Cole and Dom, played by Andrew Rannells and Nick Kroll. And we learn that they are a couple, they're getting close to their anniversary, and they have been trying but failing to adopt a child. They've been working really hard. They want to bring a newborn into their lives and be parents. They love each other very much. Their relationship seems to be on a really good track. And we learn early on that they dealt with this really horrible thing where a person essentially scammed them and they had to go through all these different things after trying to adopt the baby. And the film does a really great job making you empathize for these two characters and see their experience and hurt for them, because you can tell that's genuinely what they want. And they're about to take a trip to Italy on a vacation while they're also waiting on this woman who is about to give birth to kind of give them the okay that they're going to be parents. And so they're super excited but nervous about that, but they're still going on this trip and getaway for their anniversary to try to, look forward to the future and appreciate this moment in their lives. And they get there, and at first they're having an incredible time on this vacation. They're really enjoying their time together. And they're supposed to go to this very like non-known restaurant where this older woman is cooking pizzas, and they've heard great things about it. She kind of stepped away from the restaurant industry and is doing things on her own. On their way there, their car crashes and they get lost in the middle of nowhere. And this man comes and finds them and tries to help them out. But obviously, there's a language barrier between the two of them, which creates a lot of chaos. And the entirety of the film is after they are picked up when their car is stranded and taken to the house of this restaurant they were supposed to go to, all the set of circumstances that sort of changes the trajectory of their life in that moment. So, like I said, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really entertaining. I don't think all of it works perfectly, and I can't really talk about that until I get into spoiler territory. But I want to talk about the positives first. For starters, like I said, Andrew Rannells and Nick Kroll are great in this movie. I think they have really fantastic chemistry, and there were a lot of moments of their dialogue and their banter back and forth that really kept me engaged in the movie. They are truly just two very funny individuals, and they really they're a very believable couple, and they work really well together because they have those brief kind of off arguments that end really quickly, but you can just see it feels like there's years of chemistry between the two characters, which is one of the reasons that work well. And I also thought early on in the movie, when the directors were trying to build empathy for them in their situations because of how good the performances were, it made it very easy to be invested and on board. I thought it was pretty well shot. There's nothing in this truly over the top and remarkable, but it looks really good, especially a movie taking place in Italy. visually you have to make it look beautiful, and I thought that worked really well. And I also liked some of the dramatic shifts in lighting and certain things like that when the film took a very different turn, which I think worked to its advantage. I also think a lot of the moments that occur once the tone shifts can be very shocking, but also incredibly hilarious. And there were a lot of moments that made me laugh really hard. And that's what I wanted from this movie. I was hoping that it would be incredibly hilarious and easy to kind of laugh at these two characters experiencing whatever was going to happen. And I thought that's another thing that worked really well. A lot of the comedic setups were really great, and that's something that I appreciated. My issues with this movie, and before I get into spoilers, when the tonal shift happens, I don't necessarily feel like the way that certain scenes play out work completely to that shift. There are other movies, which I'll talk about when I get into spoilers, that I feel like do this very similar thing, but do it better because they kind of fully embrace it and run into the concept, where this just kind of felt like things happening and they didn't fully go for how ridiculous it possibly could have been, which made some of the moments with these certain situations drag a little bit. I also feel like they could have got to this point a little bit quicker without some of the earlier scenes that just felt a little bit included to pad the runtime, which also made the experience not perfect for me. But as I said, I enjoyed the experience overall. I think it's an entertaining movie. But from here on out, I can't talk about any more of this without spoiling the film. So if you want to watch this movie, turn this off and go check it out, and then come back and finish watching my review, and you can hear my thoughts on the spoiler elements of the film. So in this movie, these characters show up at this at this woman's house who's cooking them pizzas. Obviously, she speaks no English. She only speaks Italian, and so that creates a very difficult situation for our characters because there is no form of communication. The power goes out in the house, and they accidentally knock the old woman down the stairs, and she dies. And so everybody else that's around the house, whether it be her son, her son's girlfriend, anyone that shows up to the house that discovers them, they end up killing them off one by one because they feel like that's the only way that they won't get caught by the police, is to sort of cover all their tracks so no one knows that they accidentally committed murder. And what this movie really reminded me of is the film Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which, if you watch that movie, two hillbillies living in the middle of nowhere, all these college kids come out to go on a vacation. You assume that the hillbillies are going to come murder them, but they're not. They're just two good guys that are living together, trying to enjoy their lives, and the kids start accidentally killing themselves, which it starts to play out like a slasher movie, but there isn't a slasher. These kids are killing themselves. And so the funny part of the movie is the extreme nature of the deaths, while also being parallel to the reaction of the characters. So in this movie, you have two characters that you build up as these really struggling guys that are trying really hard in their life that to get this child, that act in a very extreme way when a problem is presented to them. And I think there's parts of it that work really well, but you also have to get really on board with someone having that extreme of a reaction. And obviously they wanted to do that for the comedic punch of it all, because they're worried, like, they want to have this child, they want to be parents. And I think there's a way that it could have been done that it would have been really funny, but I think because it doesn't ever feel like it fully commits to the bit, that some of the moments just feel kind of whatever. You don't feel super moved by like how the kill is presented or the way they're hiding a body in a moment or any of those things. And there's a point during the whole set of circumstances where it just feels like it starts occurring really rapidly. And even at the end, when they're trying to get away from the police and things start to get a little bit more intense, I just never felt that extreme sense of like urgency, where I feel like in this type of a movie, when you're doing something like that, you would feel a very palpable tension. And I was enjoying the humor and the way the characters were interacting to the situations, but I just wanted a stronger sense of urgency or feeling of anxiety that would accompany how you would react in that situation accurately. And I think that took away from the movie for me, honestly. Like, I feel like it could have been something truly special. Instead, it was just something that I really enjoyed. But I do think if you like both of these actors and any of this sounds interesting to you, I think you'll find something to appreciate about this film. So have you seen I Don't Understand You? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was really entertaining despite the flaws that it has. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.